Hello children! Welcome to my language arts segment. The title of this episode is Enjoying Graphic Novels, Understanding the Story. In this video, we are going to cover one of my favorite graphic novels, Gulliver's Travels. First, we will be looking at the book cover to predict what the story is all about. Second, we will go through the important events in the novel. Third, we will attempt to recall the important events in sequence. Ta-da! Here's a copy of the graphic novel Gulliver's Travels, one of my favorite stories when I was young, just like you. Can you guess what the novel is about? I'll give you a hint. The answer lies in the title. The title gives it away, actually. Yes, that's right. Gulliver is the name of a person. And what about the word travels? Yes, travel means to go on a trip to visit another place. It's about Gulliver traveling somewhere, so that means this story is about adventure. Isn't it exciting? We can also guess what the novel is all about from the cover. Let's look at the cover of the book closely and try to answer my questions. What can you see here? Yes, a man, and he is huge. Look at the little people at the bottom. Why do you think he's so big? And why do you think the people at the bottom are so small? What is he doing? Oh, he's actually pulling some ships. What a strong man! Oh look, there's a blurb. A blurb tells you the summary of the story. Listen. Lemuel Gulliver always dreamed of sailing across the seas, but he never could have imagined the places his travels would take him. On the island of Lilliput, he is captured by tiny creatures no more than 6 inches tall. In the land of giants, he is nearly squashed by an army of giants. His adventures could be the greatest tales ever told, if he survives to tell them. Wow! A story about tiny creatures and giants! How interesting! Now I cannot wait to read it to you. Chapter 1. Voyage to Lilliput. Lemuel Gulliver loved sailing. On the 4th of May 1699, he set sail with Captain Pritchard. On his voyage, the ship was caught in a storm and he was stranded on an unknown island. He woke up and found himself surrounded by little people. The little people captured him and tied him up. Chapter 2. Meeting the Emperor. The little people took Gulliver to the Emperor. He begged the Emperor to be freed. The Emperor said he could only leave on a few conditions. One of it was he had to help Lilliput fight their enemy, Bluff. Chapter 3. The War with Bluff. Reldresal, a council member, told him that he needed to fight the Blefuscudians who planned to invade the land of Lilliput. Gulliver managed to capture their entire fleet. The emperor ordered Gulliver to bring in the Blefuscudians as prisoners, but Gulliver refused. This made the emperor very angry. 3 weeks later, the residents of Blefuscu invited Gulliver to their kingdom. The Emperor of Lilliput was even more upset. However, Gulliver got the opportunity to gain the Emperor's trust when a fire broke out at the palace. Guess what he did? He put out the fire by urinating on it. Ew! A council member informed him secretly that the council was charging him for dishonoring the palace and showing disloyalty to Lilliput, all because he planned to visit Blefuscu. The council member also informed him that he will be put to death the following morning. Sensing the danger that lies ahead, Gulliver left for Blefuscu and was greeted well by the people. With their help, he left for his homeland on the 24th of September 1701. He arrived in England and told the people his adventures with the tiny people. They did not believe him until he showed them the tiny animals that he had brought along. Chapter 4. Land of Giants. Gulliver missed traveling. So, the following year, he set sail with Captain John Nicholas and his crew to explore the Great Island. Left behind by the others on the island, Gulliver encountered giants in the cornfield. One of the giants picked him up and the terrified Gulliver begged for his life. The giant brought Gulliver to his master, who then invited him for a meal. At the master giant's home, Gulliver met his daughter, Glumdalclitch. He took care of him and he became a country performer for the family. One day, Gulliver was so popular that he was sold to the Queen of Giants. Chapter 5, A Wild Escape. One day, Gulliver and Glumdalclitch traveled to the south coast with the King and Queen of Giants. Gulliver traveled in a traveling box which was also his home. A royal servant took him for a walk along the shore. He started to miss home. After a while, he returned to take a nap inside his traveling closet when suddenly the closet was carried away by a large bird. The bird dropped the closet into the sea. Stranded at sea, he started shouting loudly for rescue. Fortunately, some sailors heard him and rescued him from the sea. They did not believe his adventures in the land of the giants until they saw the gigantic objects that he had in his cabinet. He returned safely to England and heeded his family and friends' request to stop sailing anymore. Wow, wasn't that an interesting story, children? I know I enjoyed it. Did you manage to complete the worksheet? Let's look at it together. For number 1, it says the 4th of May, 1699. What do you think happened on this date? If you remember, the story begins with Gulliver setting sail with someone. Do you remember the person's name? The answer is he set sail with Captain Pritchard. Did you get it correct? You did? Well done. Number 2, when his ship got caught in a storm, where did he land? This is easy. He landed on Lilliput Island. Number 3, where did he go to escape the Emperor of Lilliput? Remember the enemy of Lilliput? Yes, he ran to Bluff. Number 4. Okay, this is a tough one. What happened on the 20th of June, 1702? That's 1 year after he returned to England. Remember, after 1 year, he was starting to get very bored. That's right, he left England with Captain John Nicholas and his crew. Number 5. Finally, what happened after he managed to escape back to England? In the end, he stopped sailing and stayed in England. Did you get all the answers correct? You did! Well done! This means you have understood the story well and you are able to identify the important events in the story. Now, before I end my session, I'm going to leave you with a question to ponder. There's no right or wrong answer, but I want you to think as creatively as you can. The question can be found in Task 2 of your worksheet. If you were Gulliver, would you stay in England or continue traveling? If you wish to stay in England, how would you spend the rest of your life? And if you choose traveling, where would you like to explore? Which would you prefer? And give me reasons why. That's all the time I have. Till next time, bye children!